Why do these games stand out? This selection shows how different studios manage to explore action, suspense, and narrative in unique ways. Even within similar genres, each game here has its own unique approach, which makes for a varied and interesting experience. Don't forget to like, comment, and follow me so you don't miss any videos. Let's get started.
I didn't know then the path this adventure would send me on.
Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis is an upcoming action-adventure video game, an approach that reinforces the spirit of adventure of the franchise. The game focuses on exploration, exotic settings, and challenges that are well integrated into the environment, delivering an immersive and cinematic experience. The game is a recreation of 1996's Tomb Raider, featuring a mix of classic exploration, complex puzzle solving, and expanded storytelling. The narrative follows an experienced Lara Croft as she searches for the scattered pieces of the Scion, an artifact of immeasurable power belonging to the lost civilization of Atlantis. Experience the pinnacle of adventure, a stunning reimagining of the game that defined the genre in 1996, with jaw-dropping visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5, modern gameplay, and several surprises that pay homage to the spirit of the original game. As Lara Croft, gather your wits and athletic prowess and explore locations lost in time. From the jungles of Peru to the ancient ruins of Greece, the deserts of Egypt, and a mysterious Mediterranean island shrouded in mythology. Traverse treacherous landscapes, solve deadly puzzles, and face lethal predators in search of the scattered fragments of the Scion, an artifact of immeasurable power. The game introduces veteran Tomb Raiders and newcomers to Lara's world to incredible visuals, modern gameplay, and plenty of surprises, in a tribute to the spirit and atmosphere of Lara Croft's debut adventure. This is an insane remake that no one should miss. Demon's Souls is an action RPG video game, a milestone in challenging game design. Precise combat, an interconnected world, and a dark atmosphere create a constant sense of achievement. It is a game that rewards patience and attention. The player is transported to the heart of Boletaria, a kingdom of warriors that was destroyed after the appearance of a fog that brought with it beasts and demons that feed on the souls of mortals. King Atlantis awakened the Ancient One, a great beast that resides beneath the Nexus. With the awakening of the Ancient One in search of power and prosperity, he channeled the power of souls. He brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until a thick black fog covered all the outlying lands, cutting off the kingdom from the outside world. Those who entered the fog never returned, unleashing demons that feed on the souls of the living. Those who lost their souls also lost their sanity and became violent. Chaos reigned, madness attacking sanity. The demons grew stronger and more powerful with every soul they devoured. Legend has it that several warriors entered the cursed land, but none of them returned. But it was only when Valorfax of the Royal Twin Fangs managed to escape the fog that the world learned of Boletaria's plight.
Birthdays as you play your game.
Until Dawn is an adventure and survival horror video game, an interactive experience focused on choices. The game stands out for its cinematic narrative, and the way small decisions can alter the character's fate, keeping the player constantly engaged. When 8 friends return to the isolated cabin where 2 people from the group disappeared a year earlier, fear takes hold, and the mountain retreat turns into a nightmare with no escape. Face your fears and decide who will survive in this classic and influential horror game, recreated and enhanced for PC. Until Dawn is designed to be played multiple times, so that players can understand the game in its entirety. The story lasts about 9 hours each time you play, and the mechanics will use a new system called the butterfly effect, in which each choice you make will have major consequences never before seen in the unfolding of the story. Throughout the game, players will make difficult decisions involving ethical and moral dilemmas, such as sacrificing one character to save another. The butterfly effect blurs the line between right and wrong, and it is possible to keep all 8 characters alive or even kill them all, allowing for different paths and scenarios, thus creating several different endings. The interaction mechanism with the application can be done in 3 ways: using the buttons, using its motion sensor, and, without the use of any remote device, through the camera, using the player's body movements. Until Dawn has a very restricted autosave mode, and does not allow players to access the save file, in order to prevent them from regretting any decisions they made in the game and changing them. There is also no difficulty adjustment in terms of the computer's response. The difficulty is auto-adjusted according to the decisions and the point in the story where the player is. For example, the response time to quick-time events is shorter when a character is in a dangerous scene than when they are in a calm situation. The name of the game, Until Dawn, already tells you how long the story will last, and the player will see that this is true as the game progresses. The player must collect as many collectibles of various types as possible with all characters in order to understand the story. Immerse yourself in this engaging and bloody horror recreated from scratch with stunning graphics in Unreal Engine 5. Venture into the thrilling exploration of a remote mountain where nothing is as it seems, with movie-worthy cinematography, refined gameplay mechanics, and more. Create your own compelling story by controlling a group of original characters played by an all-star cast, and decide their future with your choices. Through dynamic animations and detailed facial expression capture, discover what drives each character and who in the group is fit to survive. Explore a rich and detailed setting that will take your breath away at every turn. The original game has been recreated from scratch with new graphical enhancements for PC, using cutting-edge visual technologies to bring the nightmare to life. Find new collectibles, entirely different settings to investigate, and re-edited narrative sequences that further intensify the mystery. Check out the action up close with the new immersive third-person camera. Enjoy the brand new soundtrack and recreated audio, which will keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time. Amnesia. The Bunker is a first-person horror game. Here, terror stems from vulnerability. The closed environment, limited resources, and the enemy's intelligence create constant tension, making every move an important decision. Alone in a desolate World War I bunker, with only one bullet in the chamber, it's up to you to face the oppressive horrors in the darkness. Keep the lights on at all costs, persevere, and get out alive. A truly intense horror experience. Immerse yourself in the many ways to face survival. As French soldier Henri Clément, you are armed with a revolver, a noisy dynamo-powered flashlight, and other scarce supplies to collect and craft along the way. With randomness and unpredictable behavior, no two matches are alike. Hunted by a constant threat that reacts to your every move and sound, you must adapt your playstyle to face hell. Henri is trapped and hunted by a mysterious, yet photosensitive monster called the Beast. To survive in the bunker, Henri must maintain the base's power while collecting resources and ammunition, which are randomly placed on the game map. Henri can also use a revolver, a shotgun, and other throwable items such as grenades and flares to fight enemies, but ammunition is very scarce. The base is dimly lit, and Henri eventually receives a clock that indicates when the generators will run out of fuel. If the fuel runs out, the base will be completely dark and the monster will actively hunt Henri. To solve the problem, the player must refuel the generator and use a noisy dynamo flashlight to find their way through the bunker. There are limited amounts of fuel in the bunker, and once all supplies are used up, the player will have to complete the rest of their game in the dark. Unlike previous games in the Amnesia series, this one features a semi-open world, which gives players more freedom to explore and achieve their goals. The game does not have many scripted moments, and the Beast is a constant threat that haunts Henri throughout his journey. The game features elements inspired by immersive simulators, and the game world reacts to the player's actions. For example, players can spill gasoline on the floor and set it on fire, creating a temporary light source to scare the monster away. Players can enter several safe rooms regularly to save the game, one of which has a chest to store items, and view a map of the bunker to better understand its layout. Subsections of the map are filled in as they are found, either viewed. Unlike previous games in the series, the bunker does not have a sanity system. Every decision will change the outcome of how the game reacts. Actions have consequences. Solve things your way in a semi-open world. You need to explore and experiment to find your way out.
It all feels so alive, so vibrant. But what does it mean? What is it for?
Here, The Lie is a dark horror experience in which death is not a checkpoint. A psychological horror that focuses on atmosphere. The game builds fear through distorted scenarios and symbolism, offering a more sensory than direct experience, developed by Tangentleman under the guidance of Santa Monica Studios' external development group. Explore a surreal and unforgiving world where disturbing encounters and environments come to life. Designed to be played in first person, the title will also be available for PlayStation VR, promising greater immersion in the game's tense and desperate atmosphere. The goal is to provide suspense and psychological horror, with simply disturbing images and situations. Immerse yourself in a dark and unsettling horror that will test your psychological limits. Explore a monochromatic nightmare city where sinister creatures lurk around every corner. Struggle with life and death choices and your own morality as you uncover the mystery of the woman in yellow.
Dirt, rain, and things that want to kill you.
The Sinking City is an action-adventure game with survival horror elements. An investigative open world with a strong identity. The narrative inspired by cosmic horror and the freedom to conduct investigations make for a unique and engaging experience. The game is inspired by the universe of American horror writer H.P. Lovecraft's works and is set in the fictional city of Oakmont, Massachusetts during the 1920s. The story follows private detective and war veteran Charles W. Reed as he arrives in Oakmont and searches for clues to unravel the mystery surrounding the city's flooding. There are elements of ethnic and religious conflict among the residents of Oakmont, as well as cults and criminal organizations. The Sinking City features third-person camera gameplay based on exploration of an open world, where the player searches for clues and interacts with various characters in order to unravel mysteries about the city and its residents as the plot unfolds. The city of Oakmont is as important an element of the plot as the protagonist Charles Reed. The game features the concept of insanity as a major participant in both the setting and gameplay. In addition to the main plot, the game also has several optional side missions, which tell short stories about the city and its residents, contributing to greater player immersion in the city of Oakmont.
A little rat snuck in.
Withering Rooms horror game. A creative proposal that mixes horror and RPG elements. The game stands out for its unusual setting, and the way it encourages exploration and experimentation. Greetings from Mostyn House, once a beautiful Victorian mansion that now rearranges itself every night and is filled with monstrous undead, invisible ghosts, insidious witches, and axe-wielding madmen. Take on the role of the young Nightingale in this challenging 2.5D RPG inspired by roguelikes, souls-likes, and classic survival horror games. Explore an expansive procedurally generated map that includes the entire Mostyn House and the labyrinths, graves, caves, churches, and ruins beyond its gates. Create your perfect build by finding or crafting a wide variety of weapons, tools, spells, clothing, and magical artifacts. Meet a variety of strange friends, merchants, and liars, each with their own agendas. Will the Nightingale find a way to escape Mostyn House, or become powerful enough to control it? Unique 2.5D gameplay with elements of roguelikes, souls-likes, and classic survival horror games. Deep and engaging story combining gothic horror and 19th century science fiction. Vast procedurally generated world to explore, with over 200 rooms and areas with dozens of biomes, over 80 monsters and leaders, over 400 unique outfits, rings, weapons, tools, treasures, and spells to find and craft, over 30 NPCs to befriend or betray, 4 endings and a new Game Plus mode, robust with new monsters and a new leader. Unlock the fixed camera mode and play from a classic survival horror perspective.
You can smell death everywhere. It's like a tomb. This place is too fucked up to just be fucked up.
The Dark Pictures Anthology is an anthology of interactive drama and survival horror games. a collection that focuses on compact and varied stories. Each title takes a different approach to horror, keeping the experience fresh and focused on narrative. The games in the series have horror themes, and players make decisions by controlling various characters and observing their consequences. The games support cooperative multiplayer, where each player controls a different character. All games are linked through what the game calls the curator, a character present in each title who introduces the story of the game in question and occasionally talks to the player in a mysterious and strange place called the Vault. The Dark Pictures Anthology are individual, cinematic horror games with branching paths that can be played with a friend online. In Man of Medan, 5 friends set sail on a diving trip that soon turns into something much more sinister. Embark on a terrifying journey aboard a ghost ship. All playable characters can live or die. Your choices will determine their fate. Callisto Protocol is a survival horror game. With a third-person narrative, this survival horror game is set 300 years in the future. A cinematic horror game with a high technical level. The game impresses with its visuals, setting, and constant sense of danger, creating an intense experience. The player takes on the role of Jacob Lee, who, by a twist of fate, is thrown into Black Iron Prison, a maximum security penitentiary located on Callisto, Jupiter's moon. Chaos ensues when the prisoners transform into monstrous creatures. To survive, Jacob must escape Black Iron Prison, eliminating any obstacle in his path. Along the way, he will uncover the dark and disturbing secrets hidden beneath the surface of Callisto. Set on Callisto, Jupiter's dead moon, in the year 2320. When a mysterious epidemic wreaks havoc on the moon, Jacob must face his greatest fears to defeat the bloodthirsty creatures that pursue him while uncovering the dark secrets at the heart of the Grand United Jupiter Company. With a unique combination of melee and ranged combat, Jacob must adapt his strategies to face rapidly evolving creatures while searching for new weapons, equipment, and abilities to overcome the growing threat and escape the horrors of Jupiter's dead moon. The Callisto Protocol is a next-generation take on the survival horror genre, combining atmosphere, tension, and brutality with desperate and moving moments. Players are immersed in a thrilling story where indescribable terrors lurk around every corner. Players take on the role of Jacob Lee in a third-person perspective. Jacob's health is indicated by an implant in the back of his neck called the core device. Health can be restored with injectable packs found throughout the stages. Jacob can use weapons to fight enemies, as well as a melee combat system to dodge enemy attacks while looking for openings to attack and eliminate enemies. Both combat styles can be combined, providing greater variety when facing different types of enemies. Jacob can collect and review audio logs throughout the game. Although enemies take heavy damage from headshots, there is no guarantee that they will die from head removal alone. Therefore, damaging both limbs and head, as well as exposing and destroying their tentacles before they mutate, is essential to eliminating them. The gameplay requires mastery of both physical and ranged combat, including a special gravity weapon once used by prison guards to control inmates. One of the most threatening and lonely environments in the universe, Callisto becomes a crucial piece in Jacob's desperate attempt to survive. The player's confrontations are not limited to the terrors of the penitentiary, but extend to the age-old secrets that corrupt both below and above the surface of Jupiter's long-dead moon. The Evil Within 2 is a third-person survival horror video game, a clear evolution of the franchise. The game expands player freedom, improves combat, and deepens the psychological narrative, balancing action and horror efficiently. Detective Sebastian Castellanos has lost everything, but when he gets a chance to save his daughter, he must once again descend into the dark world of STEM. Terrifying threats emerge from every corner as the world warps around him. Similar to its predecessor, the player takes control of Sebastian Castellanos, who must go to the Union world to rescue his daughter, Lily. There are 3 game modes: Casual, which is recommended, Survival, and Nightmare, the latter being recommended for players who enjoyed the difficulty of the previous game. In The Evil Within 2, the maps are larger and there are several ways for players to advance through a level. The player also receives an item known as the Communicator that helps highlight objectives, resources, and enemies presented in the game world. It also reveals resonance points, which provide clues about what had happened in the Union world. Players can also explore the map area freely to complete secondary objectives and search for resources, which are scarce. Players can engage in direct conflict with enemies using firearms, or use stealth to go unnoticed, or sneak up behind enemies to eliminate them silently. The game features a crafting system, in which players can gather resources to create new items, such as ammunition. Players can craft items at any time in the game, but doing so at a workbench requires fewer crafting materials. A customization system is also present. Green gel, introduced in the first game, can be used to customize Sebastian's abilities, which are divided into 5 different trees: health, stealth, combat, recovery, and athletics. Weapons can be customized using weapon parts collected by players while exploring the Union. 3 years after the events of the first game, Sebastian Castellanos left the Crimson City Police Department, haunted by his experiences at Beacon Mental Hospital. His only daughter, Lily, supposedly died in a fire at their home, and his wife Myra, unwilling to accept their daughter's death, abandoned him. This, coupled with his trauma, results in Sebastian becoming an alcoholic. Drowning his sorrows in a bar, Sebastian is approached by former partner and Mobius agent Julie Kidman, who reveals that Lily is still alive. Sebastian is taken to a secret Mobius facility against his will, where he meets the facility's boss called the Administrator. The Administrator explains that Lily is being used as the core for a new STEM system to simulate a city called Union. However, Mobius has lost contact with Lily and its agents inside Union, and they have lost control over the simulation. Sebastian reluctantly agrees to help and is connected to STEM. It's another one of my favorite games that is definitely worth playing and exploring. Conclusion: the strength of this list is the diversity of approaches. Each game explores fear, action, or narrative in a different way, showing that creativity and identity are essential for memorable experiences. What did you think of the video? Which game is your favorite? Now I want to know, which of these games caught your attention the most? Comment below, leave a like, leave your suggestions in the comments. Thank you.